What's going on, guys? We're back at D3 Off-Road here. Say hello.
We're matching today.
Yeah, we're matching for you.
What's going on, guys?
I got some nice D3 swag on here, but what's more important is I'm holding a Fox shock.
Yes.
And we're gonna put some Fox shocks
On a CF.
on a CFMOTO. So this is super exciting, kind of behind the scenes. By the time you're watching this, we'll be unveiling this machine, but if you can follow along, you know we're doing a CFMOTO Z-Force 950 Sport 4 build as like a family trail cruiser. And you know, the Z10 has released, and one of the biggest features on the Z10 was putting Fox shocks on it. I've been joking about putting Fox shocks on a CFMOTO forever, and now that the Z10 release has been delayed, I might beat them. So Steve's gonna help me fab up some mounts or figure out what we need to do to get these Fox shocks off a Can-Am Maverick Sport onto this machine. By the looks of it, it's pretty similar.
We're hoping they bolted it in, but we're about to find out.
Yeah, so we're gonna dig into that. Stay tuned. This build's gonna be a ton of fun. We got a ton of wicked parts to put on here. Some custom stuff, some bolt-on stuff, and some visual things. But it's gonna be awesome, and I can't wait to show you guys how this thing performs on the trail. But enough talking, let's turn some wrenches, man. We're pulling those CFMOTO shocks off. These are just the CFMOTO branded shocks. We don't know much about them. Steve, you've never even opened a set of these, have you?
No, but I think we should.
Yeah, I think for science we're gonna have to open a set just to see what we're dealing with. As far as we know, and don't quote us on this, but there's not much availability for service components, seals, or anything for these shocks as far as we know, right?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I bet if you call the dealership, they'd just sell you a whole shock. I don't think you'd get like a seal kit if it's leaking. They would just say replace the whole thing.
So we're gonna look into one, see what it's like, compare it to what some of the shocks Steve's more familiar with, like you know, Fox, Walker Evans, Radflow, and that stuff. And we'll share that with you. We may have to build some adapter brackets to fit these shocks on there. We might not. Right now we're just gonna try and figure it out. So first step is pulling those off. Steve's already gotten some measurements that he thinks he's gonna need before we rip it apart so that we have a baseline. And now the rest of the game's basically gonna be a trial and error to figure out what our best solution is here.
First bolt has been removed from a brand new machine.
Uh-oh. Did you just void the entire vehicle warranty with that?
It's not new anymore.
Oh no, and you didn't even let me do it first. Cool. All right, so front is loosened off there. We're gonna do the same with the back. So take a look at these back shocks. So we've mentioned many times, and if you look at this machine, it's as similar to a Can-Am Maverick Sport as it can be. So the thought process here is, if they borrowed concepts for the rest of the machine, then they likely borrowed some concepts and measurements for the suspension, and we're hoping that's gonna help us fit these puppies in there. What was that sound I heard?
That bolt's not tight.
So I've not touched this machine, but can you see the gapping on the head there?
That's QC at its finest.
And then is there gapping on the other side too?
I can't.
Yeah, there is even more. That bolt is not even locked in there. That would have fallen out soon.
Usually they put paint mark on everything.
That's a Friday. Yeah, I know. That's makes me think we should check the rest of the machine over. That's like a bad failure right there. If you unload and that shock pulls out, I wonder what the other side's like.
That's what seatbelts are for.
Oh, okay, and upgraded cages, right?
Yeah. Oh, I lost my shock.
Wait a second, this machine's been sitting here for a few weeks. Are you sure you didn't loosen up all these bolts, man?
Yeah, that's what I do in my spare time.
He's an ambulance chaser, man, I tell you.
You know what I'm gonna do later tonight is loosen all the bolts on that.
Well, with all that free time you've got, this shop is not full by any means, right? So.
Oh yeah, this is finger tight. Nice.
Finger tight. So here we have one of the front shocks, the Fox shocks that were removed off a Can-Am Maverick Sport. I got these shocks through Power Sports Nation. Resi's bigger on the CFMOTO shock. That makes it better, right?
Well, it has to be bigger because that shaft is bigger.
Oh, more volume.
That's right.
Cool. You've got a smart answer for everything, man. So I'm noticing right now the diameter of the spring on the Fox shock is bigger.
Yeah, so this is a progressive rate coil, and these are linear rate, but there's dual here.
Okay,
so we're going to scale these, and I'm going to see what the spring rate is on them too.
Nice. They do look very similar. But
I'm thinking that this, let's get some calipers. I'm thinking it's a metric body.
And Steve was saying that these shocks on these Asian machines generally tend to be mostly metric. The segues are metric, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so most Foxes, this is either a 2-inch or a 2.5, and this is a 2.2.
Okay,
So
yep.
if you convert that to metric, it'd be normal. Wherever this is a 2.5. So there's no Fox that's a 2.2.
Right, it's an in-between.
Yeah. And then this is probably a 17 mil shaft, but this is not a metric thing. So it's just under 7/8, so 17 mil. And this will be a 5/8, 0.625.
Is there a reason they would be running a bigger shaft on that CFMOTO shock?
So usually you just go bigger shaft for more shear strength.
Right.
So you don't want the shaft to bend, but because it's not a race rig, I can't see that ever being a problem. And it's such a short travel, but I'm gonna compare everything when I get the lengths. And if you look at these lower feet, well, they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
This one's 1.25. 1.25, and then I think the bolt holes are way smaller, so I'll have to drill the frame out bigger, I think, because this is a 0.4 and this should be an M12, so it'll be
I believe that
half-inch.
drilling or cutting of the frame is part of the first steps involved in any good modification.
Who doesn't want bigger bolts? Bigger's better, especially when they're loose. I think it's pretty much gonna bolt in.
Yeah.
Just need to drill them out to an M12.
And lengthwise, laying side by side, they look very similar, just relaxed like this.
Yeah, that's full droop on both, and they're within, I don't know,
Very close,
quarter inch
yeah,
of each other,
very close, yeah.
Not worried about CV angles or anything. We just need to make the spring rate the right rate so that you get the same amount of chrome shaft showing at ride height with all your weight. But we can't really figure that out yet because you're gonna have your whole outfit with all your mods and your gear and everything. So for now, we're just gonna get all our data comparing of everything and fitting them in.
Yep.
Don't really worry about, we can just crank the preload to make it do what you need. And then once we have everything on it, we'll really be able to figure it out.
So like many of these suspension builds, let's call them, especially the custom stuff, it is just something you have to expect will be done in stages, right?
Yeah, unless you come to me with all your other stuff done.
Right, right.
And then it's like, all right, let's do the math and figure it out. Because we need to scale the spring and then figure out from full length to compressed will tell us exactly how much sprung weight is on it. You don't just scale a vehicle because that's going to tell you how much the tire weighs, and that doesn't matter for your spring rate.
Yeah.
Your spring is just everything up top. So yeah, we'll get some more data, some more measurements, and do the springs on this and see what's inside this. And
Awesome.
let's see what we can learn.
Cool, yeah, excited. Just for discussion's sake, here we have the rears, or we have one rear, sorry. Bigger resi on the rear, bigger shaft there, obviously a different spring, and then slightly smaller shaft diameter and reservoir on the fronts there. These are nice takeoffs. They look quite healthy. We haven't opened them up, but there's no seeping or leaking anywhere. And my understanding is that the mileage on this machine was pretty low. If you need any parts like this, or really anything for your side-by-side used, then check out the team at Power Sports Nation. I actually got in touch with them and met them through my friend Michael Sabo. If you guys are familiar with his channel, he does a ton of really cool ATV and bike builds, but he's also playing around in the side-by-side stuff now. So make sure you check him out. He's a super nice dude, and he got me in touch with them. They've been sponsoring his channel for a long, long time. They also watch our channel, and they're involved in racing side-by-sides and all sorts of stuff like that. So it's really cool to find another business to work with when it comes to stuff like this, because it's like a candy store, guys. It's like a wrecking yard for side-by-sides. Check them out online. I'll put the link in the video.
Imagine having access to over 100,000 ATV and side-by-side parts at any time, all in a facility that's over 20 acres with fields of organized ATV and UTV frames, literally numbered in the thousands. Imagine having the resources to rebuild nearly any engine in the off-road industry and the manpower to do up to 2,000 engines a year. Or how about having a shipping facility to safely package and deliver over 120,000 orders a year? Ordering an online part is as easy as clicking a button, but there's much more that goes on behind the scenes to get that part to your doorstep. What started out as a simple eBay business in a garage has turned into what's now the largest used parts provider in the ATV and UTV industry in the country. As you can imagine, an operation of this scale is a lot to manage. We're about to get a first-hand look at exactly what goes on behind the scenes. I'm here in Norfolk, Nebraska to have a closer look for myself, and I want to take you along with me. At the end of the video, we'll sit down with the owner to see how it all began. Let's have a look at Power Sports Nation.
And if you're looking for hard to find parts or just generic parts, make sure you check them out. Do you use a separate machine for these dirty shock jobs? Because I mean, you can't use the same equipment on a Kawasaki when you're done with it, can you?
No.
You have to wipe it down with Lysol, or?
You can't take the springs off.
What?
Without taking the foot off. So most shocks, here, they have like a snap ring, like Fox or Radford, whatever. You pop the snap ring and you take the lower foot off. There's no snap ring, and this is a one-piece lower foot, so there's no way to get this foot off, to get these springs off, unless you undo the chrome shaft from the foot, it looks like.
Can you give me your unfiltered reaction to this?
Super annoying.
We're gonna be laying down some lessons. CFMOTO engineers, get your notebooks ready.
I bet you this is like red Loctited on there, like total pain in the ass. Well, Mama didn't raise no quitter. Let's rip this thing apart.
Yes, we're taking apart a brand new shock off a CFMOTO, not knowing what's gonna happen at all. If you know, maybe there's a company out there making replacement seals for these, let us know, leave a comment, and we'll give those guys a shout out, and it's gonna be something good for Steve to know too, because as CFMOTO popularity increases, I'm assuming some of these shocks will start showing up.
They don't Loctite it. Finger tight, baby.
Well, you know what? I've heard you curse a lot about Loctite in the past. I seen it. You probably let it slip out, but you are smiling right now.
This is just full of surprises. So that's how you take your springs off on your CFMOTO. You take your shock apart.
So that's the threaded rod there. Cool.
Yeah, it's
well, that was pretty easy.
Foot. Look at that. Oh, it does fit. We're good. It fits. So now we can see how much preload it was actually running, which is like,
it seemed decent. Decent amount.
2 and
there.
something. Let me tape measure.
So here we have it. The shock itself, I mean, obviously these all look very similar to the naked eye. I mean, you can't really tell much difference between the shocks aside from stickers. It's what's inside that counts. Secret piece of paper. I'm not allowed to show those numbers. He's writing down all the things going through his head. So this thing doesn't have a Schrader valve on it. Is that one of those ball valves or whatever you call them?
No, there should be a rubber pellet underneath that.
Oh, that's just a dust cover?
Yeah, which, as long as you put it in a lathe machine, you can put a Schrader valve on.
Cool. So that's your main spring?
Yep.
Are we gonna try and figure out the spring rates after?
We are gonna do that next, yeah.
And this would be called your secondary spring?
Yeah, you can call
spring?
it. You can call it a helper. You call it a tender. You can call it a top spring. You can, whatever makes you feel better at night. This is the bump stop. I thought this was brand new. Where'd the dirt come from?
Well, it's brand new and test driven. I had to make sure it worked. I want to make sure the wheels didn't fall off it. Judging by your investigation, they almost did. This machine has under 200 miles on it.
It's advanced.
Okay.
So state of the art.
So it's not standard.
No,
it's advanced.
It's advanced.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty special. It's got a low-speed compression adjuster on it.
Okay.
Whether or not it's real, I don't know.
I don't. My ass dyno tells me I don't feel much difference.
I think it's a steel body, not aluminum. Yes.
Good or
That's
bad?
Good. Lasts a hell of a lot longer.
I don't know if there's much content online about these CFMOTO shocks. I mean, Steve's got a little bit of interest from a professional level here just to see what's going on in them. And this is a cool one to check out because it's really brand new. It hasn't got much mileage on it. What you see in there?
There's a rubber thing.
You probably can't see it on camera, but yeah, there's a little pellet in there. So do you just have to depress it, just push on it, and it releases?
And you gotta jab it. There's a safety here. Push that in, and then as you slide this up, the needle comes out.
Oh, neat.
And then that goes through the rubber pellet. My other one.
Oh, it's modified.
I kind of broke it, and I don't know if I had new ones show up or not.
Nice. That worked.
There's nitrogen in it. Hoping there'd be enough nitrogen that it would just pop.
Pop it out, yeah.
It's close, but it doesn't want.
So is there a C-clip in there, like a circ-clip? Or a snap ring, sorry?
Yeah, I got it here.
Oh, you've already removed it? Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting though, it's square instead of round.
Oh.
Oh baby.
Well, it's not full of oil.
There's the pellet.
Oh, cool, yeah.
You can see from us drilling it.
Yeah, so it just needs to be replaced, right?
Yep. It's got a bleed screw in the piston, that's nice.
Are these an internal bypass shock?
No.
No? Would it be a needle style shock like a Walker Evans?
We're about to find out if I can get this cap off.
It's going. Nice.
2-piece seal head design.
2-piece seal head design.
Kinda neat.
Oh, it's going down? Nice. And are you just exposing the clip there, right?
Yeah, C-clip.
And then you can hopefully pull it all out?
Hopefully.
That's the seal head. Like the ones on the Fox shocks are like different design. They're like anodized aluminum and like threaded or something, aren't they?
That's on the internal bypass ones. On
cool.
the regular Foxes, they're just like this.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah. On square as well.
Oh, slow.
Oh. We're gonna need a pry bar.
Out she comes.
Oh.
It's not going past that?
Doesn't want to. Non-serviceable. Oh, there it goes.
It's like a little shard of metal sitting there. Oh, a double seal there.
Python seals.
We went over that in the last video if you guys are interested.
That's quite the
green.
piston design. Wow.
See?
I've never seen it down inside like that before.
Interesting.
Usually those are up at the top. So it's not a needle style and it's not internal bypass. It's a nothing. It's just a shock. Basic, bare bones.
But I thought it was advanced.
Well, that's what they told us. But they
So is it an advanced basic shock or just a basic shock?
must be the double seal makes it advanced.
Makes sense to me. Is the double seal thing, like, is that legit? Like,
It's common practice.
It is common, yeah.
Yeah. I don't see it often in the side-by-side world, but you get into the bigger stuff and you'll see it. Well, let's see what they did for valving.
We got a weird design here, you're saying, or different. Not something you're used to seeing.
Yeah, the piston's a weird design.
I guess we can, you've got a bunch of pistons there we can compare it to, right? Because in the last video we were explaining how the different piston designs impact the flow of the fluid through the shock, right?
Well, I think this is a never serviceable item because it just took the top of the shock off.
Oh, it broke? That's awesome.
What do they call these? Walker had them on some of their machines. They round over, they like squish this. So
It's like a stretch bolt essentially, you get to use it once?
yeah, like
Yeah.
you can never take it apart. So you're not allowed to valve these things then either.
That's really disappointing, actually.
Yeah, you can't do anything with these, I guess.
Could you, at this stage, what you're doing here is you would be able to do an oil change and a nitrogen charge on them?
Yeah,
That's about it?
yeah. I wouldn't even bother. Just buy a new shock.
That's really disappointing, though, you know? That's a really weird portion of the machine to make disposable.
I can get it back together, but yeah, people at home don't do that.
Let us wreck perfectly good things for you. How does the shim stack look?
It's got a big bleed shim. And every shim is like paper, as thin as possible, like lightest valving you could put on it.
Is that probably in their heads to make it ride what I would say in
Soft.
quotes comfortable?
Yeah.
A soft, comfortable, plush ride, right?
Soft, yeah.
How would that type of valving affect this machine at mid to higher speeds?
It would bottom out a lot.
What if you add a load of 4 people in gear?
Yeah, it wouldn't be good.
Do you find this type of valving in other machines, like a soft valving like this, or does this look abnormal?
No, you find stuff like this in
Okay.
a Walkers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You wouldn't find a piston like this though.
What are you thinking when you see that piston? Is it just...
I'm thinking it has horrible flow characteristics. It just won't move a lot of oil, so they have to compensate with super light valving. For just a slow trail rig thing that's not going to have good performance, it's fine.
Cool. Okay, and so they're purpose building it for what they think its intended use is.
Yeah, like shock tuning and stuff, this would not be what you want to run. Now, that's not to say you couldn't maybe get a piston out of a Fox or something to fit in here and modify it. There's no one in their right mind is going to go to all the effort on this shock
Right.
to do anything, right?
So basically they've given us a disposable component. It has a life cycle based on how hard you use it or what you do with it. When it gets to that point, you're either already getting rid of the machine and it's aging out, or you're replacing it as a unit assembly, which is really probably, you know, that could be a very expensive maintenance.
Yeah.
If you buy a machine like this and it's got the shocks blown out of it and it's pretty new, and then you realize you need 4 new shocks.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe possibly that's where this video is going to come in handy. If you need to buy 2 or 3 or 4 new shocks for your machine, by the end of this, hopefully putting these aftermarket Fox shocks on might actually end up being, might not end up being way more economical, but if it's even the same price, it's probably a better bet, because then you're not replacing shocks in the future. If you put a lot of mileage on your machine, or if you want the tunability, then it might be something worth considering. But we don't know yet. I'm just kind of, it's my hypothesis. So we'll see into the future. We'll see how all this goes. But right now we're kind of just diving into it in the dark. And as you can see, we're just kind of talking it through and trying to figure out a game plan here.
So it's got a flutter stack on the compression, but really they're just relying on this backup washer on the face shim. You have basically 1 shim and then it flutters against that. There's only 4 shims there. It's very minimal. There's really nothing you can do inside this shock. It's kind of...
So it's no different than an off-the-shelf kind of replacement shock you'd put in a car. You just put it in there and then it does its thing, and then when it dies you replace it.
Yeah. Seeing this, I have no need or interest to ever open up another one, because there's nothing you can do with them.
Right. Well, now we know, and you guys know too. Until you do this, you really have no idea, right?
Yeah.
So you think even though we broke that little piece on there, we should be able to reassemble it?
Yeah.
Oh man, we're getting some scientific stuff going on here now. So you've got a scale on the bottom here, right?
Yeah, we're gonna see what these spring rates are.
So you're gonna compress this spring a set amount and then crunch some numbers, and it's gonna tell you the spring rate.
That's right. 10.75 inches.
How much are you gonna crank that thing down?
2 inches.
2 inches?
I'm gonna go 1 inch and see what it says.
And this is the method you use to measure pretty much any, you can measure any spring with this, right? Because there's just a formula for it?
Yep. So every single inch that the spring compresses, because it's a linear spring, every inch is how many pounds that spring is. So if it's a 200-pound spring, or what's your car, 350?
Yep.
Every inch I squish it, it'll read 350 pounds. So I go 1 inch and see say it's 347.
Yep.
You know they don't make a 347
Right.
spring, it's a 350.
Yep.
So go another inch just to double check your math.
It should be
times it by
600
2.
or 700.
700.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna go 9.75 here, see what it tells us, and then go 8.75, see what it tells us.
And then
It
it's,
says 255, so it's probably a 250. So now we'll go again and see if it goes to 500.
not very scientific.
No, it's
Super basic, yeah.
527. So if I back this off like a 16th of an inch,
It'll be 500, so we got a 250-pound spring.
near 517. Yeah,
Pretty
so
damn close.
250 pounder is what we're gonna call it. So I'm gonna write that down for the main.
Just for discussion's sake at this point, these springs you would never replace on the stock shock, because the stock shock is not serviceable. The only reason we're doing these readings is to get a baseline on where to start with our new build, right?
Yeah, like you could change the springs on those stock shocks if you add a ton of weight to that car, and
Right.
you aren't going to upgrade the shocks. You're still only going to have the service life of
Whatever's in there, yeah.
2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers. The shocks will be smoked unless you just don't care and you just keep running them. Then yeah, you'll want maybe a stiffer spring to put a bunch of weight on the car, but you're not going to get into tuning them. There's no
Right.
crossover rings. There's no threads on the body to add them. There's really nothing you can do with them. But we're doing this to know what they're running, what your combined rate is with the tender and the main.
So we can pick the proper spring setup for our new shocks when
Yeah.
we're dialing it in for the machine, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm gonna also scale the Fox. I think I know what they are based
Mm-hmm.
off my buddies, if they're both 2-seaters. And then when you ride around and put all your weight on, we'll be able to calculate
Okay,
what
cool.
you need.
Just gonna repeat this now with the tender spring or the helper spring, whatever you want to call it. We'll probably have to do one of the rears as well, right?
Yeah, they'll probably be the same, to be honest. Maverick Sports, like those Fox,
They'll
came
be the
out,
same rates?
the same all year.
Oh, okay, cool. You said they're progressive on the Fox shocks, right? So is there a
Yeah.
different way you're gonna have to measure those?
Yeah, you just kind of
guesstimate
a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to change as each inch it goes up, like drastically, not 250, 250.
So it's almost like you try to average it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. 200.
200.
194, but looks like a 200.
Yeah, jump up to
197. Yeah, 200. Yeah.
So 200 over 250, which is like standard on a lot of side by sides.
Dude.
Oh, it's factory.
It looks kind of factory. It's hitting here. How's the top look?
It's already bolted in. Good to go.
Actually clears.
It fits perfect. It's almost like Can-Am and CFMOTO work together.
And by that you mean it's almost like CFMOTO may have purchased a Can-Am. You know what? You got to call it like it is. It's not an attack. It's the reality.
The only difference
they're sharing ideas.
is the bolt size.
But that's a easy issue to solve.
The width is the same. It's just the diameter.
I'm gonna say you nailed it then, man. When you thought these are gonna be a good fit.
I did a little bit of thinking.
That is awesome. I mean, we could be at a lot worse of a stage right now. So now we're gonna disassemble this Fox shock. This is the front shock.
This is a little easier than the CFMOTO. There, done.
Yeah.
No
I mean,
unthreading the foot, nothing. Springs off, good to go.
there's no reasoning behind why CFMOTO couldn't design it that way either. It almost seems like it would be easier. Oh, we're going springless?
It's Bluetooth.
No. Oh, Bluetooth. Can you do a Bluetooth drive shaft for me while you're at it?
Oh, it's close.
Is it close?
It's really close.
Well, we might as well document the whole process here. So the only part that's not clearing is really cool. It's just right here. We gotta notch this section of the shock mount so that we can clear the seat, and then it should be good because it's just hitting a little bit right now. Steve's machining up a sleeve also because the diameter of the bolt holes are bigger on the Fox shock. So we're just gonna sleeve it for now because we can't get access to drill out the frame up there because the grill and everything's in the way. Plus, why drill the frame if you don't need to? If you guys are doing this and you have factory warranty, you probably don't want to modify your frame if you can avoid it. So we're gonna try and avoid that step as well. So I'm just gonna get a grinder and take a chunk out of there and take a chunk out of there. And that should let us bolt these things up and test fit them and hopefully not find any more problems. Okay, that should be enough there. Sounds like Steve's done the bushings. Notched them out there. She looks factory.
Beautiful work, sir.
Thank you. Hack and slash is my specialty.
Ta-da.
Wow, that's some nice work there too. That's all we needed.
Hopefully it fits. Oh, baby.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're just changing the diameter in there a bit, right? A little bit of a spacer, a sleeve.
Yeah, we're going from an M12 to an M10.
Let's see if I ground that out right.
Get up in your home. Where's the hole?
Can't find the hole?
Nope.
We're not cleared yet. We gotta take a little bit more off here, see?
Oh yeah.
Close. Originally I thought I had to take more off here, but it looks like I gotta take a bit more off there. Okay, here we have it. We got the first front on and it fit with pretty much what I would call very minor modification. As you can see there, I ground out a little more than needed. We got tons of clearance even at full droop. So we were just joking around here saying, you know, a lot of people say that this CFMOTO Z-Force 950 Sport Gen 2 is a direct clone or knockoff of the Can-Am Maverick Sport or Commanders. I mean, it is what it is. When you park this machine next to a Can-Am Maverick Sport, or in this case a Sport 4, then the similarities are striking. There's a lot of them. And we just bolted Maverick Sport shocks onto a CFMOTO Sport with pretty much, I would argue, almost no modification, a little bit of grinding on an upper A-arm, that's it. So say what you want. This only adds fuel to that fire of, you know, this is very similar to a Can-Am. Visually, when you look at them side by side, they're very similar, but I mean, stuff like shocks bolting on, that's just crazy. You can see right away though that the left side, the blue side, the Can-Am shock, the Fox, is way beefier spring on there. This is gonna look badass. It's gonna look mean with these. Once we get the springs dialed in and color code them, it'll look really, really cool. So the stock side there, CFMOTO, and then our upgraded side here with the Fox in there. There we have it. Both shocks are mocked up in the front and they fit really good. They look beefy. That blue looks pretty cool. They're not gonna stay that color, but... We will be revalving these shocks in the future and running a true dual rate setup on here with iBox springs. How would you say that went? Pretty decent.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's a bolt-on kit, right?
It is, yeah. If you know how to turn wrenches, maybe a little bit of grinding, it's a bolt-on.
So Can-Am dealership is selling bolt-on kits for the CFMOTOs now?
Well, they're the same thing.
So
it's even got the same exhaust, a little tip in the middle.
Let's see what the back's like. Hopefully this is not much harder than the other side. We'll see how they mount in the bottom here. Hopefully they have clearance.
Yeah, it looks like
A-arms.
the bolts are the same size.
I hope
as
the
the
springs
fronts.
don't hit the A-arms though.
Oh.
That's my only concern. You see the gapping there?
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
I mean, close is okay. As long as they don't touch, we're good.
An aftermarket spring will be smaller around than the factory because they're like a beehive because they're the progressive.
They're progressive, yeah.
So we might have to swap out to a regular spring to get, yeah, that's gonna be close.
Let's see. Okay, so we've pulled the rear shock, and this one isn't gonna be as easy. The shock length is off a little bit, so the Fox shock is about an inch shorter based on how they mount. The tie rod assembly you see there is in the way. It's hitting the bottom of the shock and the spring. It is clearing here where we thought it would hit. It's going in the top mount, okay, but we're worried it might also hit here. So we got to test fit it. Right now we're trying to figure out if we can take apart the CFMOTO shock, cannibalize it to make this one work. What you doing?
Drilling holes.
Drilling holes. We're building a little bit of a adapter bracket, let's call it.
Lift kit.
A lift kit, yeah, okay.
We're making a lift kit.
Custom lift.
Yeah.
Comes in handy having all these fancy tools. Bandsaw next in line here.
This is quite the old unit right here. It's pretty sweet. I've never seen one like it. No one else has.
Start
it has
right.
a built-in air compressor, so as you're cutting, it blows air out here and blows the chippies away.
It actually has a compressor built into it.
Yeah, in here. You'll hear it when I turn on. You hear this thing go.
This is old, eh? London, England. Back where they made all the good stuff back in the day. Oh.
Found it on Facebook.
Nice. You know what? When it comes to stuff like this, older is often better.
It's built tough.
Oh my god! That is so cool. They don't make them like years ago. Wow, that's awesome.
It's a spicy little unit.
Is there a little holding tank?
There's a V-belt on an air compressor with an air filter.
Oh, it's like a little mini compressor.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Like,
Never
wow,
seen anything
man,
like that on a bandsaw.
So cool.
We
man.
got it running. We're like, what's that noise? Because this was 600 volt three phase. So I
Yeah.
had to rewire all the paneling to go 220. And then it was making that noise. We're like, what is that? Oh, it's an air compressor.
That is so cool. So we got the rear shocks here. We got a little bit of a, I mean, it's kind of a ghetto bracket. I mean, not ghetto, it's just simple. We just cut a piece of flat bar there and we're just using it as a spacer just to kind of drop that shock down a bit for clearance reasons. And we're gonna weld it right to the frame because that's the way we roll.
No. We should put the bolt in the bottom now.
I think that's a wise decision, my friend.
Cycle it.
Yep, just to make sure.
Just to make sure that that's enough of a drop.
We've spaced the toe link there. We got the adapter brackets on top. Oh yeah, what's that in there? 2 Fox shocks off a Can-Am on this Can-Am Z-Force 950. Yeah, this is the new Can-Am build. Disregard the stickers. It's actually a Can-Am, but I'm trying to disguise it as a CFMOTO. I'm so pumped about this. Oh yeah, look at that. Fox, baby, Fox. Foxy. So here we have it. These are the shocks after Steve has revalved them and installed the iBox dual rate springs. Excuse the noise, it is freaking crazy out here today. It's gonna rain soon. You can see there's upgraded reservoir caps on there as well now. Custom valving in there. And they look wicked. The ride quality improvement is insane over the stock springs. Here's the back. I did ride it on the stock springs for one ride just to kind of feel it out. It was super bouncy and oversprung on the blue springs, the ones that came factory on these shocks. But since going to the custom valving with Steve and these Eibach dual rate springs, it feels amazing. The ride quality improvement is next level. I really can't believe how good this rides. The only way to improve the ride a little bit more at this point, in my opinion, is to add a suspension seat. Better shot of the bracket up there now, just dropping it down a little bit to make the shocks clear and get the lengths just right compared to stock. You can see Steve also installed a set of Schrader valves on there. Make it easy to charge these in the future. It's hard to beat a true dual rate setup, no matter what machine you have. If you want a good ride improvement, take your shocks and your machine to a proper shock builder and get them to tailor fit a set of suspension for your needs. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. If you'd like more information on this build, then make sure you tune into the next video where I'll be posting a detailed and intricate overview of all the parts and modifications we did, including installation of the wrap, the heater, and a bunch of other lighting and accessories. Thanks for all the support you guys have shown me over the years and continue to show, and a huge shout out to all the partners and sponsors that helped made this build and many other projects on AdrenalineJunkieProd possible. Don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Also, subscribe to the channel, it really does help out. And as always, ride safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.